Good evening, everybody. I'd like to let everyone know, please be aware if you're attending this meeting, our meetings are recorded for future viewing, and we are privileged to gather on the traditional territory of the Kwakwaka'wakw. So we'll call the meeting to order, and I just want to point out for the public that our emergency exits are over here and off to the side if we need to exit the building quickly. So item 2A, can I have a motion please to accept or amend the agenda as presented? Go ahead, Councillor Downey.
I have an addition, if we could put under new business, just a motion that I'd like to bring forward at our next meeting.
Do I notice a motion? Okay, we'll put that under 10A. And when we get to there, you can read it out at that time. Any other additions or amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion please to adopt the agenda as amended?
Seconded.
Okay.
Can I ask, how come the agenda I have on my desk that was here is 28 pages and one I picked up out of my box is only 16? Is there something that's been changed?
Yeah, we got an email earlier and all of that was added was the minutes that were missing out of that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Item 4A, minutes of the September 28th meeting of council. There are no amendments. Can I have a motion please to adopt?
I'd like to suggest amendment to the minutes. The electronic meeting item, I made a motion that wasn't reflected in here, and it's defeated for a 6-month extension.
Okay, actually, hold on just for a moment.
Moving to this
Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry, under what item?
Apologies. 8A,
8A. Okay.
page 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows the one motion that was passed, but I made a motion for a 6-month extension of the electronic meeting, I believe.
That was defeated. That's correct.
But
Okay.
that's normally reflected in the minutes.
Yeah, that's true. So we can add those. If staff is nodding, we'll add that.
Thank you.
Okay. And then if there are no further, can I have a motion please to adopt as amended to include that motion that was made that was defeated? Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Minutes of the October 5th special meeting of council. Any amendments? And if none, motion to adopt. Moved, seconded. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, item 4C, minutes of the October 5th committee of the whole. Are there any amendments? And if none, motion to adopt, please.
Can I just one correction under new business 10A1?
Okay.
And it's just a year thing. Can be removed by January 30th, 2022.
Oh, yes, 2022. You were correct.
Thank you.
So a motion to adopt with that amendment? Moved. Seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, item 5A, correspondence from Vancouver Island North Tourism, requesting for community support on a sign, and that is going to be at Humak Lake area. So what's your pleasure, council? Go ahead.
2 comments on this one. I'd like to, just one comment is I think that this would be appropriate for this to come out of our MRDT dollars. And my second comment is that I'd like to motion that we send this to the Tourism Advisory Committee for their information as well. I don't know if we need their input. I believe this is a decision that can be made here at this table, but it would be a courtesy to our tourism committee.
So you're moving then that we support with a dollar figure of $750 to come out of the MRDT?
Yes.
Okay, seconder for that motion. Any discussion? Nope, okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, item 7A, we have a report from our Tourism Advisory Committee. And that is for, that's what's happening here, sorry. Got the wrong one. Okay. So yeah, the report you see before you is they're just making a request that they ask council to consider an economic development officer job description that identifies corporate tourism as a key target and a minimum of 75% of EDO's time. So what's your pleasure on this one, council? Move for discussion first of all, sorry.
I'll move for discussion.
Okay. What's your pleasure with this, council? There is included in the new package as well, there was missing, we have a manager of economic development, the job description that went out as well for information. Go ahead.
Probably more comments than anything is when you read into the body of the essence of the report, is what they're asking for is that our new executive director, or economic development officer, would consider growing existing tourism businesses here in our community, that ED would also identify new opportunities, seek to attract new investment into our communities, and also be a resource person for residents, I would add, and businesses looking for opportunities to market products or services to visitors. I believe that the comment that 75% of the time allocated to developing our tourism sector can be received in the greater context of the actual job description. I don't know that we want to put a percentage and time allocation directly to our new executive or economic development officer. So anyways, I would just like to receive this for information and forward it on to our new ED when they're hired.
Any other comments?
Although I haven't had an opportunity to read the job description because it didn't come in a timely way for me, we've discussed at length and came to the conclusion that we needed a qualified person to define the role of the CDO, the EDO, the Economic Development Officer. As far as I know, that hasn't changed, and we were involved in writing this job description as far as I'm aware. But what I do know is that we want to have growth in our community, and we know that there's many factors that are going to drive that growth, including housing, industrial development, manufacturing, food sustainability, industries of many kinds, forestry, and tourism. And I think it would be premature and narrow-minded of us to pin the new EDO down and say, you must take this job. We're going to tell you how we want you to do it right off the bat. And I think we need to hear what this person has to say. Hopefully they're going to know something about our community and have some ideas about what should be happening. And so putting them in a box and saying you're going to basically be a tourism promoter, that's what we want you to do for the first year. I'm not certain, was it 3 years that we agreed on the funding?
I think 2. Yeah.
2 years, there you go. So 30% of his time is going to end up being, 75% in the first year is going to end up being on tourism. That's, to me, that doesn't make any sense. So I don't think we want to confine ourselves to one primary sector at this time. I think we need to let the new person help us define our direction and not set it out for them. We know what our general direction is, we want economic development. If we know how to do it, we wouldn't be hiring this person. Therefore, I'm opposed to the suggestion that we direct the new EDO to spend any percentage of his free time on any sector until we hear their views.
Okay, thank you. And just for clarity, we were actually given the opportunity to have input into the ED. I think the other council meeting, there was it was on an agenda, and we all had given input. So, okay, any other further discussion? So you have a motion to receive and file and hand to the new Economic Development Officer for information. Seconder for that motion? Okay, any further discussion? Oh, okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. on, what's off. Okay, next we've got a report from the Tourism Advisory Committee again for website recommendations. I'll turn that over to our liaison, Councillor Downey, and you can let us know what motion you need from us.
I don't know if you're looking for a specific motion and perhaps your blessing, but the tourism committee would like to enter in an arrangement with Vancouver Island World Tourism that they would be, I'll read it to you here, we recommend council agree that for the 2022 tourist season, that as a pilot project, we would redirect our website address, which is visitportmcneil.ca, to point to the Vancouver Island North Tourism Port McNeil page, as mentioned above in the report here. Recommend that we direct the tourism committee to continue to work with Vancouver Island North Tourism, monitor the progress of this pilot project, and report back to council. We would report back to council in February, June, and October on the progress and the outcomes of this project.
Questions for Councillor Downey? Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe it's not for Council Downey, maybe it's staff. How much did we spend on the tourism website?
For staff, the cost of the tourism website thus far?
Thank you, Mayor. Without the numbers in front of me, I would say approximately $7,500.
Okay, so if I may, the main expense was our main town website, and this was
Yeah.
an expense
And
on
then,
that.
yeah. And do you know in particular what they're hoping by diverting it for the year to be able to, like what kind of information that they hope to garner?
Well, as you guys know, we've had a few barriers in this last year in terms of staffing and resources to be able to monitor our web pages. Vancouver Island North Tourism is already set up to accommodate and to be on top of social media and web presence. And so we've lost 2021. We're looking at the committee is not satisfied with the page that resulted from our work relationship that's been developed with Array. And so the request is we just like to tag up with Vancouver Island North and be guaranteed that somebody would be monitoring it.
I'll make the motion. I mean, just what the recommendation that's there for the 2022 as a pilot project to redirect that website address to the Vint for McNeil page. I really like the idea of the reporting. That's my motion.
Okay, I'll second that.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, carried. Thank you. Okay, next we have item 7C, and we have a public works report on the fire hall upgrades, and I see that our public works manager, Julian Allen, is with us this evening, and just like to say thank you for your report. First of all, it's good to know the status of where we're at, and does anybody have any questions for Julian at this time?
I was just curious about roof replacement.
Roof replacement, sir?
Yeah, roof replacement likely won't be done this winter. There's a little bit of a change proposed to the roof line itself. The design is like a stub-nosed, snub cornice, I believe they call it.
Sorry, could you talk just a little louder so that the recording will capture?
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Can I take this off, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. So the roof design does not have an overhang currently. And when we did all the siding upgrade, there was less damage than I was expecting, but there was some damage due to weather. And talking with our current building inspector, Nigel, he was definitely very much for the installation of an overhang. changing the design of that building slightly. So the delay there is, as I put in the report there, waiting on engineered drawings, because it has to be engineered. So Matt Laney will come up with some drawings for us that we can actually put into the tender document so that we can get some accurate bids. But with the time as it stands right now, it doesn't look likely that it's going to be done by the winter. So we'll do some temporary minor repairs to get us through.
Any other questions? Councillor Cole?
Thank you. Do you know, do you have a material you're proposing or?
It's going to be an RFP, so a request for proposal as opposed to a strict tender. Difference being with a tender, we typically say we want a very specific item. With an RFP, we won't exclude the possibility of different materials, whether it's metal or Duroid, and then we can decide basically, an informed decision with the options.
Well, if it's going to be metal, what color is it?
I'm not there yet.
Teasing. Because I know the last fire hall,
Other color.
red, the colors, which I think are great.
They'll be in keeping with the modern
Color scheme?
upgrade.
That's awesome. Any other questions?
I'd just like to say, just for me personally, and if we could move towards this going forward, I would love it. I don't know how hard it would be for you, but this little status part, just when we have projects, even if it didn't get into this much detail, but it was like, job A, 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%. I would really like to see that, kind of even more than your stories. Really, well, just my 2 bits. I really like that, and the quick visuals so that you have an idea where projects are at.
On the main capital projects?
On main capital, yeah, not like every light bulb thing changed.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
just from a point of view when you've got, and then it too, I think it's good for us to see all these projects that are on the go. Like everybody might think that the paving was done on Haddington, but I noticed like the paint just went up and the spray just went the other day. Well, that one maybe would have sat at 80% or something for the last, just that tail end of it. So I think just to keep us kind of in the loop and high level, if there was a way to incorporate that without making it more cumbersome,
Sure.
that would make me happy.
Yeah, for the board, I like this. Okay, if there's no further questions, I'll move receipt. Moved, seconded, all those in favor? All those carried. Great. Item 7D, we've got before us the Municipal Finance Authority loan to purchase the fire truck. Our CFO, Chief Financial Officer, Gurinder Singh, has submitted a report for you. And with a breakdown over the costs over the few years. And so what staff is looking for is a motion to direct staff to submit financing application for a loan term of 5 years.
I'll move that.
Moved, okay. Seconded. Any discussion, any questions for Mr. Singh this evening? Go ahead. Oh, Councillor.
Comment and absolutely love this report. Thank you for the clarity that is here in the detail.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Cole?
I'm just wondering, do we have 2 decisions here? We're going to make a decision whether to do the early payments as well, or is that? Anything that?
Sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
Yeah, so on page
Plexiglass
12,
and that.
And it discussed the payment terms and early payment discount.
Oh, okay.
So I wondered, are we doing the early payment discount?
You had a little bit, we talked in the office a little bit, Mr. Singh, if you could please just provide clarity.
Mayor, I think we might be past this. That means the benefit of this might not still be available to us. That's number one. Number two is the Food Getting Truck tells us that most of the clients avail of this benefit. It's not like buying a home where the money is going into a trust account. it's going into a private corporation. We have not vetted what the net worth of that organization is. So I'm not saying there's a risk, I'm just making us aware that there's a vetting to be done. It's a lot of money, almost 500,000. I don't have that information. It's taking their work and putting all the money to it. The benefit of doing that, 500,000 over 8890, it's like 1.8%, 1.6% over a period of 12 months. The money sits in our bank account and we make about 0.75. So if we take the real cost, I believe that, in my opinion, the risk is much higher.
Excellent, so our plan is to not do the early,
Repeat it.
so it sounds like the plan is to not go with the early payment discount, which I agree with. We don't want to pay for something before we get it in case we're unsatisfied with it. Thank you.
And the other thing is too, the way MFA works, so we won't access the funds. They just need our approval to apply for the loan, then we access the funds when we need them. So, and that's when the interest will start accumulating. Okay. So if there's no further questions, then all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Oh, sorry, do we need two resolutions? Sorry, there are two recommendations that council pass a resolution to seek financing for the purchase of the fire truck from the Municipal Finance Authority of BC. We agreed on what the motion that I read out was the 5-year term, so can we have a motion, please, that states that we get the financing through MFA?
So moved.
Moved, seconded, all those in favor? Opposed, carried, thank you. I just want to make sure that was correct, so that the correct motion is captured when we go to apply for the loan. My apologies, I did that in reverse. Okay, at 7E, Mayor's report. The only thing I wanted to highlight from this is the October 4th meeting that we had. Actually, we didn't have with BC Hydro, but it was regarding the power outages here. And just wanted to say that in all my years working or being on council, I don't ever recall an initiative where we had all of the First Nations, all of the communities working together. And I really do think that that's noteworthy because as we move forward and advocate for our region, I believe that that will speak volumes to BC Hydro and, you know, possibly the government as well. So just wanted to make mention of that. It's just really great to see everybody at the table working together on this. So that's all. So it's just for your information, the rest of the report. Any questions? Okay. So we also have then item 10A, Councillor Downey, did you want to read out, please, your notice of motion?
I just wanted to advise council that at our next council meeting, I would like to present a motion which will read very similar to as what I'll state now. And that council would direct staff to solicit development proposals for the following two properties which are owned by the town of Fort McNeil. These properties are located at the end of Beach Drive. This is made up of two parcels which total just over 12 acres. The combined tax assessed value currently is at $726,000 for that property, which right now is sitting dormant with no revenue stream coming in against it for it. The other piece of property is located between Campbellway and Pine Ankle Drive. We are near completion of our official community plan. We do have our most recent housing needs assessment, which was done in the spring. And we also are close to completing our zoning bylaw. With these three documents, I believe that a developer could come in and present to us some scenarios which would address the housing shortage we have currently in town. Many of the lots, as you drive around, have changed hands. Many have construction upon them. But as we know, and it's noted in our minutes here from our previous meeting, we had somebody from Away come and ask to purchase the lot that we own on Woodland Drive. So clearly there is a demand for land for people to come in and build. And the flip side is we have people looking for homes. The housing assessment does prioritize where the need is. So that's the background for the motion I'll be bringing forward at our next council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Downey, that's for information, and we'll have further discussion when it's included on the next agenda. Okay, item 11A, items from in camera to be made public, and that is that the town declined to sell 2772 Woodland Drive to a requesting purchaser. We are not going in camera today, but I will ask if there are any questions pertaining to the agenda and the items that we discussed this evening from the public. Okay, nothing. No. And there's no media this evening, so can I have a motion, please, to adjourn? No. Seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, thanks very much. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the meeting, it was great to be together in person, so thanks everybody. Good meeting.
Shelley, that's good, we're gonna have that discussion. Your notice